Hey everyone, welcome back to 𝗬𝗏WRKshop. I'm Julie and we're finally back on YouTube. We've been quiet for a little while we restructured our business, and honestly, we just didn't have time to edit videos. But we're back now and we're kicking things off by giving this pattern the video it deserves. Today's video is all about our fitted suit pattern, available in both men's and women's version. It's been out for a few months already, and it's the same base as we use for our Kaiju number 8 cosplays. The pattern comes in extra small to 4XL, and you can print it at home on US letter, A4, or go big with A0 at your local print shop. Like all our patterns, it includes a detailed written tutorial packed with helpful info, including a measurement guide, printing instructions, material suggestions, and lots of step-by-step visuals to guide you through. A couple of quick notes before we get into the tutorial. The seam allowance is 1 centimeter unless otherwise noted, and the pattern is meant for 4-way stretch fabrics only. It won't work with 2-way or woven materials. Now, onto some very important prep notes.
Number 1, make a mock-up. This suit has a tailored fit, and that means adjustments are often needed, even if the measurements match. For example, Gab and Julie both wore size medium based on our measurements. But once we made mock-ups, we found we needed different adjustments in totally different places. Number 2, if you're adding design elements like padding at the chest, elbows, or knees, your mock-up is where you'll need to map those out. Another reason why a mock-up is non-negotiable.
Number 3, choose your mock-up fabric carefully. Go for a cheap 4-way stretch with a similar weight to your final fabric. Or if your fabric isn't too pricey, we suggest doubling your yardage and using half for your mock-up. Nothing tests better than the real thing.
Number 4, use the stretch test in the tutorial. You'll find a chart in the book. Here's how to use it. Cut a 10 cm by 10 cm square of your fabric, place it in the chart's box, hold one end steady, and stretch the fabric as far as it naturally goes. Match it to the percentage on the chart, and always round down if you're between two values. For this suit, your fabric must stretch at least 140% width-wise. And finally, number 5, you can use a zigzag stitch or a 4-thread overlock / serger. If you go with a zigzag, always test first on scraps. Stretch the fabric after sewing to make sure the seams won't pop. And you'll also need to make sure you use a stretch needle. Alright, let's dive into the tutorial and get sewing. Before starting any sewing, you'll need to adjust the zipper notch found on your front pattern piece. Let me pass the mic to Gab to explain this one.
So to modify your zipper length to where the front you want to be, you need to calculate, that's the notch I put, but let's say you find a zipper and you want to modify it for this to fit all together. So you're gonna go and calculate your collar, because the zipper is going to extend into your collar at 3 centimeters. And then for my notch, it's at 24 centimeters. So what you want to do is 24 plus 3 centimeters total. You want a zipper of 27 centimeters plus. So that's good. And then the zipper that I have from this metal thing to that metal thing is exactly 30.5. So now I have to do 30.5 minus 27 is 3.5 centimeters. So on here, I want to move my notch by 3.5 centimeters. And it's not too low, you still have a bit of the crotch, so that's good. If it was here, then that's no-go because you have it in your crotch. And if it's a lot higher because your zipper is too short, then that's no-go as well. So you want to kind of play in this area for your zipper length.
Cut out 4 strips of fusible interfacing 3 centimeters wide. To determine the length of the strips, measure the length from the top of the center front to slightly below the new zipper notch. Cut 2 pieces of this length. The other 2 pieces are the length of the shortest edge of your collar minus 2 centimeters. iron all 4 strips on the wrong side of the fabric. The 2 long ones should be ironed 1 centimeter lower than the center front neckline, and the 2 collar strips should be ironed right in the middle. Right side to right side, line up your front and back pieces at the inseam. Pin together, lining up all the notches, and sew. If sewn with a zigzag stitch, overlock the seam allowances together. If sewing with a zigzag stitch, you'll also want to prepare the next step by overlocking the entire center front and center back. Right side to right side, line up your center backs and center fronts. Make sure to line up any notches and the inner seam perfectly. Sew together, starting at the very top of the center back neckline and stopping right at your zipper notch. Right side to right side, sew your shoulders together. Again, if sewing with a zigzag, overlock the seam allowances together after sewing. You'll now be sewing the collar to the neckline. Take your collar that has the fusible interfacing and line it up to your neckline. The neckline edge of the collar is the edge with all the notches. Right side to right side, pin the collar to the neckline, making sure to line up the center fronts, the side notches to the shoulder seams, and the center back notch to the center back seam of the suit. Sew together, and again, if sewn with a zigzag stitch, overlock the seam allowances together. Once the collar is sewn, turn your suit inside out so the wrong side is facing out. Grab your zipper and place it face down on the suit. Pin the right side, as in the proper side, of the zipper with the right side, as in the proper side, of the suit, to the center front edge. Make sure the top zipper stopper is about 1.2 centimeters lower than the top edge of the collar. Attach a zipper foot to your sewing machine and make sure your stitch setting is set to a straight stitch. Sew your zipper right next to the zipper teeth, starting at the top, going all the way to the very bottom of the zipper. When you get to the bottom, make sure you are only sewing through the seam allowance of the suit. Do the same thing for the other side of the zipper. Take out your other collar piece and overlock the bottom of it only if you'll be using a zigzag stitch. Right side to right side, line up the top edge of the collar to the top edge of the collar that is already sewn to the suit. Pin together all around, making sure the zipper is flipped out at the center fronts when pinning at this area. Sew together along the center fronts and the top of the collar. Once sewn, cut off the corners to remove some bulk. Just make sure not to cut into your stitches. Turn your collar inside out, making sure to push out the corners as best as you can. To close your collar, grab the bottom of your collar and pin it to the seam allowance of the neckline. This will naturally send the seam allowance of the neckline downwards. You won't be able to pin all the way to the zipper, but just pin as far as you can. Sew the seam allowances together 7 mm from the edge. Again, you won't be able to sew all the way up to the zipper. Press the seam down so the collar lays nice and flat. Here is what your finished collar should look like. Right side to right side, pin the sleeves to the armhole. The single notch on the sleeve lines up with the single notch on the suit, and this indicates the front. The double notch on the sleeve lines up with the double notch on the suit, and this indicates the back. The top middle notch on the sleeve lines up with the shoulder seam on the suit. Take your time while pinning, and when you're ready, sew together 1 cm from the edge. If sewing with a zigzag stitch, overlock the seam allowances together after sewing. Once your sleeves are sewn in, line up and pin the side seams together from the hem of the sleeves all the way to the hem of the ankles. Sew together 1 cm from the edge and overlock the seam allowances together if sewing with a zigzag stitch. The final step is to finish your hems. You have 4 options here. Option 1 is just a raw edge. You can go with a raw edge if your fabric doesn't fray and if you don't mind having an unfinished edge. Option 2 is turn the hem in twice by 1 cm, then top stitch with a zigzag. Option 3 is overlock, turn in by 1 cm, then top stitch with a zigzag. And finally, option 4 is just an overlock.
And with that, your fitted suit is complete. If you'd like to add some pads or armor to your suit like we did for our Kaiju number 8 suits, we will be releasing a vlog style video on how we did that. So stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe. Your support means a lot to the channel. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and feel free to tag us in your projects. We love seeing and sharing your creations. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, good luck with your projects, guys. Goodbye!